All right, so what I wanted to talk about briefly this evening before we get into it is a couple of things to get you ready. One of the big changes is, and probably most of you are aware, but if you're not, just a little bit of a recap, is stats. Stats for next season. So you know that this season there were some changes made to supers and how they're generated. Next season, orbs are no longer generated from weapon kills. There'll be a mod to run those. But intellect now, unless you're doing PvP, intellect is more or less irrelevant for PvE combat. You don't need 100 intellect or 9 intellect. 5 intellect now is about your max. With the changes made to it around damage, giving and receiving damage, 5 is about your maximum for intellect, and you basically now want to be putting in recovery is always your number 1. Mobility for a hunter, then I would be looking at resilience. Resilience is the next biggest one. Resilience is going to be survivability, especially if you're going to be doing harder content on day 1, and especially if you're doing a raid day 1. So that's your new god is resilience. Don't worry so much about intellect. For warlocks, for example, it used to be if you were doing most activities, it was recovery, intellect was your jam. Now for a warlock, you got to break it up between recovery, high resilience, and high discipline. They're your 3 tiers. Titan, again, resilience, recovery are your main bread and butter, and I'd go discipline with Titan as well. But that's what you're looking at now, and that's what it's breaking down into. So for your stats, they're your new goals. Forget intellect. Just get a couple of pieces with some decently high intellect gear. You won't even need to equip any mods. If you are farming armor at the moment, a couple of the things you do need to farm is the artifice armor, the 5-slot armor. So this gets you in the legendary dungeon, the Grasp of Avarice. So 5 slots means you can run 3 artifact mods. So these slots here, so you can run, fusion. Let's just unlock this a little bit so you can sort of see what we've got here. So this would be if we had, actually for the headpiece, it's probably not the best example. Have I got another one? Yeah, the cloak. So the cloak here. So these are all the artifact mods. So obviously those 2, they're most expensive. You're using it all, but you could chuck a third one on here if you wanted to, if you had the space for it. So you could run focusing lens, passive guard. Oh no, that's only give you 2. If they were low cost, you could run 3, but your bigger ones is your arms. You're going to want them for arms, because arms will give you your champion mod. So you could run overload barrier and, I don't know, let's say what's the third one again? Stagger. Like I've lost count. What are those champions again that run at you? You got overload champions, barrier champions. I have drawn an absolute blank on what the third champion's called, but you need to stagger them. You know what? Maybe I should just take a look. What do we got here? Unstoppable. Fuck. Unstoppable is the champion. Fuck. Okay. So yeah, you can run 3 of those. So you'll have the extra piece here. You can run that, and then another one. So that's what you're wanting to do next season, is they're the bits that you want to look for. So in saying all that, I will now stop with the formalities and we will get into some gameplay.